Good morning, Mr. Chair, to the committee, to the technical working group, to our observers, and others present for this conference. So this opening of bids is conducted pursuant to sections 58 and 59 of the IRR of RA 12009. This opening of bids is also live streamed and video recorded in compliance with section 38 of the IRR of 12009. Mr. Chair, you may begin.
Thank you. The opening of bids for the following procurement projects for contract ID 25IG0086, 25IG0087, 25IG0088, and 25IG0089 is hereby called to order. Time is 9:06 in the morning, December 3, 2025, at DPWH 85th District Engineering Office, Barangay Liposmo, Baybay City, Leyte, Procurement Building, Bidding Room. Secretariat, please conduct the roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as a matter of procedure, please stand with present and raise your hand once your name is called to acknowledge your attendance and to determine whether a quorum is established. For the Bids and Awards Committee, we have the chairperson, Mr. Mark Luis B. Sampilo.
Present.
Vice Chairperson, Engineer Delphine Eloy Jr. Regular members, Engineer Rinaldo P. Dacera, present. Engineer Edwin K. Lansang. Engineer Buenavista Orapa.
Present.
And provisional members, Engineer Abilina D. Molabola.
Present.
And Engineer Rene A. Yan.
Present.
For the technical working group, we have the head, Engineer Mike J. Pilola.
Present.
The assistant head, Engineer Jeffrey F. Ritada.
Present.
Members, Engineer Karen Joy G. Ramos. And Engineer Sam John C. Catolico.
Present.
For the secretariat, yours truly, Engineer Emmanuel Marie Sacro. We have BACSEC member for Civil Works and Consulting Services, Engineer Noel A. Cornetes. Procurement staff, Engineer Azilian Becerra, Ms. Maria de Vivian A. Loreto, Mrs. Remedios B. Ginguni, Mr. Mark Anthony Aguirilla, and Mr. Carlos C. Diaz. Mr. Chair, we would like to acknowledge as well our invited observers. We have one in person from the Commission on Audit, Ms. Mary Leslie Rosadio, and Mr. Michael Yuno. So, also, Mr. Chair, our representatives from the bidders, we have Mr. Israel De La Cruz from DC Bros Builders and Trading, and we also have one spectator from the Office of the Civil Defense who is attending via Zoom, Mr. or Engineer rather, Aaron J. Anyuta, Civil Defense Officer 1.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, for this opening of bids, 6 out of 7 members of the committee are present as of the roll call, hence a quorum is hereby declared. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Secretariat. For the record, the BAC is a collegial body composed of 7 members in accordance with Section 42.2 and 42.3 of the IRR of RA 12009. A quorum consists of at least 4 members, including the chairperson or in his or her absence, the vice chairperson, and the decision, at least majority of those present at a meeting with quorum, shall be valid and binding as an act of the BAC, with the chairperson or the vice chairperson when presiding, voting only in case of a tie. The Secretariat is directed to reflect all such decisions properly in the minutes. The committee will follow the agenda as indicated in the opening of bids notice, and Secretariat, please read the agenda.
So for this opening of bids, Mr. Chair, there are 5 agendas. Number 1 is the call to order. Second is the opening and preliminary examination of bids. Third is the reading of bids and the ABC. Fourth, comments and reactions from bidders, BAC members, and observers. 5 is adjournment.
May I hear a motion to adopt the agenda as written?
I move to adopt the agenda.
Any objection? There being no objection, the agenda is adopted. We now proceed to agenda 2. Before we open any bids, let us place on the record the status of bid submission. And in accordance with the invitation to bid and the bidding documents, the period for submission of bids for these contracts ended at 9 a.m. today, December 3, 2025, at Leyte District Engineering Office, Barangay Ipusno, Baybay City, Leyte, Office of the Procurement Building, Bidding Room. And the Bids and Awards Committee through the Secretariat receives bids up to 9 a.m. as evidenced by the stamp received by Back Secretariat indicating the date and exact time of the receipt for and on behalf of the bank. No bid submitted after 9 a.m. was accepted by the bank. Any attempted late submission, if any, will merely be recorded in the minutes with the name of the bidder, its representative, and the time of attempted submission. And for the guidance of everyone, the procedure for Agenda 2 is as follows, consistent with sections 58 and 59 of IRR of RA 12009 and DPWH Department Order 164 Series of 2025. And number one, we will take up the contracts one at a time. Number two, for each contract, the Secretariat will report how many bids were received and from whom. The Secretariat will then open the bid box, retrieve the envelopes for the contract, and hand them to the technical working group, and will open only the first technical or the eligibility envelopes of bidders for the contract. Number three, the BAC, through the DPWH and Secretariat, will conduct a preliminary examination of the first envelopes using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion based on the checklist of eligibility and technical documents, which will be projected on screen. Number four, simultaneously for each bidder, an electronic eligibility check will be conducted using the Civil Works application as mandated by DPWH Department Order number 164 series of 2025. Number five, as a general rule, in case of any difference between manual eligibility check and CWA electronic eligibility result, the CWA result shall prevail without prejudice to verification during post-qualification and to the imposition of appropriate sanctions if any misrepresentation is later discovered. However, in exceptional cases where the CWA output reflects expired legal eligibility documents like mayor's permit, business permit, tax clearance, villages, certificate of registration, but the bidder has actually submitted a valid and updated villages certificate of registration together with the eligibility documents with its bid. The bank may, in the interest of equity and consistent with the DPWH Department Order number 164 series of 2025, provisionally consider the bidder as eligible for the purpose of preliminary examination fees, applying the non-discretionary pass-fail standard under Section 59 of the IRR of RA 12009. In such case, the bank may endorse to the procurement service as a request to unlock the relevant CWA fields strictly for including the updated and valid information and thereafter require a rerun of the electronic eligibility check. On this strictly provisional basis, and provided that the bidder is also rated pass. Under the manual eligibility check of the technical components, the bidder's financial envelope may be opened together with those of the other technically eligible bidders. The bidder's eligibility status and the validity of the opening of financial envelope shall remain subject to confirmation by subsequent CWA rerun. And for the record, the duty to ensure that PhilGIPs and related eligibility registrations are current, accurate, and updated rests with the bidder, and not with the bank nor with the procuring entity. And number six, those bidders' first technical eligibility envelopes are declared pass at the preliminary examination stage will have their second or the financial envelopes opened later under Agenda 3. We now take up contract ID number 25 ID 0086. Secretariat, for the record, how many bids received for this contract and from whom?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So for contract ID 25IG0086 or the emergency repair or rehabilitation of Dungca-an flood control structure Baybay City, Leyte. The bank, through its secretariat, received two bids, namely from RJIR Enterprises Corporation, submitted on today at 8:05 a.m. and Edison Development Construction Incorporated, submitted again today at 8:20 a.m. So these bids, Mr. Chair, are duly stamped received by the BAC Secretariat.
Thank
There
you.
are no other bids, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Secretariat. And for the record, these are the bids that will be open and subjected to preliminary examination for contract ID number 25ID0086. Secretariat, please open the bid box and retrieve bid envelopes for contract ID number 25ID0086 and hand them over to the DWG.
So for the record, Mr. Chair, we have already opened the bid box and retrieved the envelopes, and we will hand them to the PWG.
RJR Enterprises and Edison Development Construction.
Mr. Chair, we confirm that the envelopes handed to us correspond to the bidders identified by the Secretariat for contract ID 25ID0086 and that they are properly marked as first technical envelope and a second financial envelope for its bidder, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Secretariat, project the checklist of eligibility and technical documents for contract ID number 25ID0086. And we will open one bidder at a time. The first technical envelopes and conduct the preliminary eligibility and technical examination in accordance with section 59 of the IRR of RA 12009 and DPWH Department Order number 164 series of 2025. DWG, please open the technical envelope of each bidder, announce the requirements and state check if submitted, and Secretariat kindly include on the record these findings in the checklist on screen.
For RJR Enterprises Corporation, first technical envelope for contract ID 25ID0086. Purchase registration certificate, platinum membership check, valid pickup license check,
Secretariat for the record, what is the status of electronic eligibility check in a CWA for RJIR Enterprises Corporation under DPWH Department Order 164 Series of 2025?
Mr. Chair, for the record, the CWA check is still being processed and the result is not yet available as of this time.
Thank you, Secretariat. And for the record, the manual eligibility and technical examination of the first envelope of RJR Enterprises Corporation has been completed and encoded, and the CWA electronic eligibility result is still pending. The final action of the BAC on whether the first technical envelope of RJR Enterprises Corporation is passed or failed at the preliminary examination of which shall be taken once the CWA electronic result becomes available. Applying the rule, the CWA result shall prevail, subject to exceptional cases earlier stated. In the meantime, to maximize the time of the committee, we shall now proceed with the technical envelopes for the next bidder. No? Proceed to Edison Development Construction Incorporated. DWG, please proceed.
For Edison Development and Construction Incorporated, first technical envelope. Receipt registration certificate, check. Valid liquor license, check. Statement of all ongoing contracts, check. Statement of single largest completed contract, check.
record, what is the status of electronic eligibility check? And the CWA for Edison Development Construction Incorporated under DPWH Department Order 164 Series of 2025.
Mr. Chair, as of this time, the eligibility check is not yet available and the results still being processed.
Next,
Sir, may I recognize, how about the list of contractors,
you are recognized.
minimum materials, testing equipment for Edison?
DWG, please, slide.
The list ng contractors, minimum materials, testing equipment, please check. As also the source disclosure obligation and beneficial ownership. This is Sasha Power.
Authorized to agree to signing of this check. Based on
The
minimum.
form good na siya, the prescribed form. Di ba, Mr. We have that also. Please review for
That is noted, Engineer Malabuga. DWG, please review.
No list of minimum material testing equipment.
About the SWORD disclosure obligation, beneficial ownership.
wala.
Wala yung zero. Sole disclosure obligation. Sole disclosure obligation.
For the record, the form will be reviewed for the record and based on the findings. TWG, for the record, what is the findings of Edison Development Construction Incorporated?
Non-compliant.
No material testing. List of material testing.
So based on the based on the result of the manual check of the technical of Edison Development Construction Incorporated, failed to attach the list of contractors, minimum materials, testing equipment. Double check. Engineer Malabula, please double check.
dito, laboratory equipment, the details are not applicable, not applicable, preconceived, good running, but certification in the remarks of the certification. Pero, correct. Wala attach. Pero ang ilang remarks here is certification. You will find the certification of this company. Wala man siya.
Yes, double check.
Certificate is not attached. Siguro na i-print siya na. Tingnan mo. Siguro, I think this is the availability of the sandwich.
This read, Engineer Dungca-an.
Statement of availability of equipment dated December 1, 2025 for Manuel Maribel Sacro Procurement regulated by City Leyte. Dear Sir, in compliance with the requirements of your DPWH Leyte District Engineering Office, found following Leyte, for the bidding of the foundation contract, I certify that Edison Development and Construction Incorporated has its availability of equipment has under lease and or has under purchase agreements that may be used for the said contract. Further, we likewise certify the availability of equipment that Edison Development and Construction Incorporated owns, has under lease or has under purchase agreement that may be used for the construction contracts. In faith whereof, I hereby affirm my signature December 1, 2025. Edison Ferdinand D. Hoy, President, Edison Development Construction Materials.
Ayan, consider lang.
No list of so based on the evaluation, Engineer Malamula, what is the final findings?
I think, sir, the list must be attached in the technical docs. Since that the list of contractors stated the minimum materials is
It's one of our requirements or
requirements. Yes.
checklist. So
Together with the supporting, the OR for
Functional
this.
qualification.
So, Edison Development Construction Incorporated failed to attach or to submit the list of contractors, minimum materials, equipment. So, may I hear a motion that Edison Development Construction Incorporated marks as non-complying with their technical
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the findings of the DPWH.
Any objection?
None, Mr. Chair.
Hearing none, Development Construction Corporation marked as non-complying due to uh, fail to attach the list of contractors minimum materials testing equipment. So, Secretariat, what is the status of the electronic eligibility check for RJR Enterprises Corporation under contract ID number 25IG0086?
Mr. Chair, we already printed the results for the electronic eligibility check of both RJIR Enterprises and Edison Development Corporation, and here is the result.
For the record, based on the CAA electronic eligibility check under DPWH Department Order 164 Series of 2025, the result for IGIR Enterprises Corporation under contract ID number 25IG0086, ECAB license valid until November 13, 2026, work experience passed, NHCC passed, mayor's permit valid until December 31, 2025, SEC valid until December 20, 2068, DIR tax clearance valid until October 24, 2026, PhilJet's registration valid until June 2, 2026. With the manual eligibility findings of the DWG and CWA electronic eligibility result now on the record, may I hear motion to adopt the findings of the DWG together with the CWA result for first technical envelope of RGIR Enterprises Corporation for contract ID 25IG0086 to declare passed and eligible.
Mr. Chair,
LGIR.
I move to adopt the findings CWA result for RJR Enterprises.
Any objection?
None, Mr. Chair.
Hearing none, there being no objection, the motion is carried. And the back adopts the TWG findings and the CWA electronic eligibility result. Accordingly, applying the non-discretionary pass-fail standard under Section 59 of the IRR of RA 12009, the first envelope of RJR Enterprises Corporation for contract ID number 25IG0086 is declared passed at the preliminary examination of these. RJR Enterprises Corporation is thus considered eligible and technically subject to the 164 series of 2025 and any provisional treatment earlier stated. Its financial envelope may be opened under Agenda 3 together with those of the other technical eligible. Proceed to the Edison Development Construction Incorporated. For the record, based on the CAA electronic eligibility check under DPWH Department Order 164 Series of 2025, the result for Edison Development Construction Incorporated under contract ID number 25IG0086, the cab license valid until November 13, 2026, work experience passed, NCC passed, mayor's permit valid until February 16, 2026, SEC valid until June 13, 2067, GAIR tax clearance certificate valid until October 9, 26, and Philippines registration valid until November 9, 2026. With the manual eligibility findings of the DPWH and CWA, electronic eligibility result now on the record, may I have motion to adopt the findings together with the CWA result for first envelope of Edison Development Construction Incorporated for contract ID number 25IG0086, eligible but failed to attach their list of minimum materials testing equipment.
Move to adopt the findings of DWG and the result of CWA.
Second motion.
Any objection?
None, Mr. Chair.
There being no objection, accordingly, applying the same pass-fail standard, the first envelope of Edison Development Construction Incorporated for contract ID number 25IG0086 is declared failed at the preliminary examination reads, and in accordance with the IRR, the financial envelope of Edison Development Construction Incorporated will no longer be open. Bank Secretariat, please take custody of the financial envelope for the possible findings of motion for reconsideration.
Duly noted, Mr. Chair.
We now proceed to Agenda 3, reading of bids and approved budget for the contract. For the record, under this agenda, we shall open only the second envelopes of those bidders who first technically envelopes were declared passed at the preliminary examination of bids under Agenda 2, including individual considered provisionally eligible in accordance with DPWH Leyte 164 series of 2025 and the rules earlier based on the record. We will proceed per contract in the same order in the notice of opening of bids. DPWG, please proceed to the financial envelopes of RJR Enterprises Corporation. For contract ID number 25IG0086, the approved budget for the contract is 59,198,890 pesos, inclusive of all applicable taxes. Secretariat, please state the record which bidders are technically eligible and whose second envelopes will be open for contract ID number 25IG0086.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So for the record, for contract ID 25IG0086, the following bidders were declared pass at the preliminary examination of their first envelope under Agenda 2 and therefore eligible for opening of their second envelope, namely RJIR Enterprises Corporation. Also for the record, Edison Development Construction Incorporated was declared failed at the preliminary examination stage due to their non-submission of minimum list of minimum materials testing equipment, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Secretariat. We now proceed with the second envelope of RJR Enterprises Corporation for contract ID number 25IG0086. DWG, please confirm that envelope you are holding is financial envelope of RJR Enterprises Corporation as identified by the Secretariat.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We confirm that this is the second financial envelope of RJR Enterprises Corporation, bearing the corresponding markings and stamp received by the Bank Secretariat indicating the date and time of receipt. With your permission, we will now open the financial envelope, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. DWG, please conduct the preliminary check of financial proposal. Announce the presence or absence of the required financial documents. Bank Secretariat, kindly encode or mark the corresponding entries in the financial checklist on screen.
Noted, Mr. Chair.
indicated in the duly signed financial bid form. The total bid price of RGAR Enterprises Corporation amount in words 59,173,000 pesos only. Amount in figures 59,173,000 pesos only. As stated in their bid form. For the record, the figures we have read today are based on the financial bid form as submitted by RJR Enterprises Corporation. The BAC, through the DPWH Secretariat, will subsequently conduct a detailed bid evaluation, including arithmetical corrections and verification of the consistency between the PFQ, detailed estimates, and the bid form, and will thereafter rank the bids in accordance with the lowest calculated responsive bid, the survey, or the other applicable criterion as stated in the bidding documents. We now take up contract ID number 25IG 0087. Secretariat, for the record, how many bids received for this contract and from whom?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So for the record, the BAC through its secretariat received only one bid, namely from DC Bros Builders and Trading. The bid was submitted today at 8:01 a.m. and the envelopes have stamped received by the BAC secretariat. No other bids were received for this contract, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. For the record, these are the bids that will be opened subject to preliminary examination for contract ID number 25IG 0087. Secretariat, please open the bid box and retrieve the bid envelopes for contract ID number 25IG 0087 and hand them to the DPWG.
So for the record, Mr. Chair, we shall now open the bid box and retrieve all envelopes bearing the label of contract ID 0087. Again, each envelope is stamped received by the BAC Secretariat with the date, time of receipt evidencing receipt for and on behalf of the BAC. We are handing them to the technical working group.
Thank you. Secretariat, please.
Mr. Chair, we confirm that the envelope handed to us correspond with the figures earlier identified by the Secretariat. Contract ID 25IG 0087, and that they are properly marked as first and second envelope.
Thank you. Secretariat, please proceed the checklist of the eligibility and technical documents for contract ID number 25IG 0087. On screen, we will now open one bidder at a time. The first technical envelopes and conducts the preliminary eligibility and technical examination in accordance with Section 59 of the IRR of RA 12009 and DPWH DEO 164, series of 2025. DPWG, please open the technical envelope, announce the requirements and state check if submitted. Secretariat, can you include and record on these findings on the checklist on screen?
For DC Bros Builders and Trading, technical component for contract ID 25IG 0087. Certificate of Purchase Registration
You are recognized,
apologies.
Secretariat.
For our spectator online, I would like to apologize because our current setup is limited, so we cannot show the live video feed of the proceedings on screen at the same time. So what is shown in his screen is only the checklist. But he can watch the whole proceeding in our YouTube channel. That's all, Mr.
That
Chair.
is noted, Secretariat.
International Advancing Capacity. Check.
Thank you, TWG. Secretariat, for the record, what is the status of the electronic eligibility check in the CWA for DC Bros Builders and Trading under DPWH DEO 164, series of 2025?
Mr. Chair, for the record, the CWA electronic eligibility check for DC Bros Builders and Trading under contract ID 25IG 0087 has been completed. Here are the printed results for your signature and record.
Thank you. For the record, based on the CWA electronic eligibility check under DPWH DO 164 series of 2025, the result for DC Bros Builders and Trading pickup license passed. Passed. May 5, 2026. Work experience passed. TNCC passed. Mayor's permit valid until December 31, 2025. DTI valid until February 3, 2026. BIR tax clearance valid until May 9, 2026. And field judge registration valid until July 27, 2026. With the manual eligibility findings of the TWG and CWA electronic eligibility result now on the record, may I hear a motion to adopt the findings of the TWG and together with the CWA result, eligible and passed for DC Bros Builders Trading for contract ID number 25 ID 0087.
A motion to adopt, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Any objection?
None.
There being no objection, the motion is carried out. And the BAC adopts the TWG findings and CWA electronic eligibility result. Accordingly, applying the non-discretionary pass-fail standard under Section 59 of the IRR, RA 12009, the first envelope or the technical of DC Bros Builders and Trading with contract ID number 25 ID 0087 is declared passed at the preliminary examination of the case. DC Bros Builders and Trading is thus considered eligible and technically compliant at this stage and subject to DO 164 series of 2025 and any provisional treatment earlier stated. Its financial envelope may be opened under Agenda 3 together with the other technical eligible bidders for this contract. We now open to we now proceed to Agenda 3, reading of bids and approve budget for the contract. And for the record, under Agenda 3, we shall open only the second envelope or the financial envelope of those bidders whose first technical envelopes were declared passed at the preliminary examination of bids under Agenda 2, including any bidder considered provisionally eligible in accordance with DPWH DEO 164 series of 2025 and the rules earlier placed on the record. We will now proceed per contract in the same order in the notice of opening of bids. For contract ID number 25 IG 0087, the approved budget for the contract is 21,596,697 pesos and 54 centavos, inclusive of all applicable taxes. Secretariat, please state for the record which bidders are technically eligible and those second envelopes will be open for contract ID number 25 IG 0087.
Yes, Mr. Chair, so for this contract ID 25 IG 0087, the following bidder was declared pass at the preliminary examination of their first envelope under Agenda 2 and therefore eligible for opening of their second envelope. So, namely, BC Bros, Builders, and Trading.
We now proceed with the second envelope of BC Bruce Builders and Trading for contract ID number 25 IG 0087. TWG, please confirm that the envelope you are holding is the financial envelope of BC Bruce Builders and Trading as identified by the Secretariat.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We confirm that this second envelope bearing the corresponding markings and stamp received by the bank secretariat, indicating the date and time of receipt. With your permission, we will now open the financial envelope.
TWG, please conduct the preliminary check of the financial proposal and announce the presence or absence of the required financial documents. Bank Secretariat, can you include or mark the corresponding entries in the financial checklist on screen?
For BC Bruce Builders and Trading, financial envelope. Financial bill form with 120 days bid validity. Check. Bill of quantities. Check. Summary prices. Check. Detailed estimates. Check. Cash flow by quarter and its schedule.
Thank you, TWG and Secretariat. We now read into the record the total bid price of BC Bruce Builders and Trading for contract ID number 25 IG 0087 as indicated in the duly signed financial bid form. Total bid price of BC Bruce Builders and Trading, amount in words 21,582,000 pesos only. Amount in figures 21,582,000 pesos only, inclusive of VAT as stated in the bid form. For the record, the figures we read today are based on the financial bid form as submitted by BC Bruce Builders and Trading. The bank through the TWG and Secretariat will subsequently conduct the detailed bid evaluation, including arithmetical corrections and verification of consistency between the BOQ, detailed estimates, and the bid form, and will thereafter rank bids in accordance with the lowest calculated responsive bid or other applicable criterion as stated in the bidding documents. Let's proceed to the next contract. We now take up contract ID number 25 25IG 0088. Secretariat, for the record, how many bids were received for this contract and from whom?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So for contract ID 25IG 0088, repair, rehabilitation of classrooms, Baybay 1 Central School, Baybay North Central School, City of Baybay, Leyte. The back to the Secretariat received two bids, namely from Bigen Enterprises, which we received today at 8:39 a.m. and Jason's Builders. We also received today at 8:07 a.m. So no more bids or no other bids were received for this contract, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. For the record, these are the bids that will be opened and subjected to preliminary estimation for contract ID number 25IG 0088. Secretariat, please open the bid box and retrieve the bid envelopes for contract ID number 25IG 0088 and hand them to the technical working group.
So for the record, Mr. Chair, we shall now open the bid box and retrieve all envelopes bearing the label contract ID 25IG 0088 and we'll hand them over to the technical working group. So each envelope bears the stamp received by the back secretariat.
Mr. Chair, we confirm that the envelope handed to us correspond to the figures earlier indicated by the Secretariat for contract ID 25IG 0088 and that they are properly marked as first technical envelope and second is financial envelope, both together.
Thank you. Secretariat, please project the checklist of eligibility and technical documents for contract ID number 25IG 0088 on screen, and we will now open one bidder at a time. First, technical envelopes and conduct the preliminary eligibility and technical examination in accordance with Section 459 of the IRR of RA 12009 and DPWH DEO 164 series of 2025. PWG, please open the technical envelope of each bidder, announce the requirements, and say check if submitted. And Secretariat, kindly include or record these findings in the checklist on screen.
For Beijing Enterprises, first envelope, technical documents, certificate of previous registration, check. Valid vehicle license, check. Field-based School Declaration, signed and notarized. Contractors and the decisional charge for the contract, check. Contractors, key personnel, liaison to the contract, check. List of contractors, equipment reached to the contract, check. List of contractors, minimum material testing equipment units, liaison to the contract, supported by certification and availability. Omnibus warrant statement, signed and notarized. Swords closure obligations and deviation ownership, signed and notarized. NFCC, check.
Thank you, DWG. Secretariat, for the record, what is the status of the electronic eligibility check in the CWA for Begin Enterprises under DPWH Leyte 164
So for the record, Mr. Chair, the CWA electronic eligibility processing has been completed, and here are the printed results for your signature and reference.
For the record, based on the CWA electronic eligibility check under DEO 164 series of 2025, the result for Begin Enterprises under contract ID number 25IG 0088, pickup license valid until June 14, 2027, work experience passed, NFCC passed, mayor's permit valid until December 31, 2025, DTI valid until July 24, 2029, BIR tax clearance valid until September 30, 2026, Philjips registration valid until July 21, 2026. With the manual eligibility findings of the DWG and CWA electronic eligibility result now on the record, may I hear a motion to adopt the findings of the DWG together with the CWA result, eligible and passed of declared eligible and passed of Begin Enterprises under contract ID number 25IG 0088.
I move to adopt the findings of DWG and the result of CWA for Begin Enterprises.
Any second?
Second the motion.
Any objection?
None understood.
Hearing none, the motion is carried. The BAC adopts the DWA findings and the CWA electronic eligibility result. Accordingly, applying the non-discretionary pass-fail standard under Section 59 of the IRR of RA 12009, the first envelope of, or the technical envelope of Begin Enterprises for contract ID number 25IG 0088 is declared passed at the preliminary submission of bids. Let's proceed to the next bidder, the Jason's Builders. DWG, please proceed. And Secretariat, please project the checklist of the eligibility and technical documents for Dungca-an ID number 25 ID 0088. And we will now open one bidder at a time. DWG, please proceed. The technical of Jason's Builders.
Jason's Builders, technical documents, the contract ID 25ID 0088. Certificate of registration, check. Liquor license, check. Statement of all ongoing contracts, check. Statement of single largest completed contract, check. Bid security declaration, signed and notarized. Organizational chart for the contract, check. Contractor schedule assigned to the contract. Detailed application data, check. List of equipment owned or leased or under purchase agreement which to the proposed contract, check. List of contractors minimum material testing equipment units to be assigned to the contract, supported by certification of availability. Omnibus warrant statement, signed and notarized. Source closure and relations and decision ownership, check. NFCC, check.
Thank you, TWG. For the record, based on the CWA electronic eligibility check, the result of Jason's Builders under contract ID number 25IG0088. ECAB license valid until December 7, 2027. Work experience passed. NFCC passed. Mayor's permit valid until December 31, 2025. DTI valid until January 18, 2030. PAR tax clearance valid until June 13, 2026. And projects registration valid until February 22, 2026. With the manual eligibility findings of the DPWH and the CWA electronic eligibility result now on the record, may I heard a motion to adopt the findings of the DPWH together with the CWA result for the first envelope of Jason's Builders under contract ID number 25IG 0088 to be declared eligible and passed.
I move to adopt the findings for Jason's Builder.
Second edition.
Any objection?
None.
There being no objection, the motion is carried. The BAC adopts the DWG findings and the CWA electronic eligibility result. Accordingly, applying the non-discretionary pass-fail standard under Section 59 of the IRR of RA 12009, the first envelope or the technical envelope of Jason's Builders for contract ID number 25IG0088 is declared passed at the preliminary examination of bids. Jason's Builders is thus considered eligible and technically compliant at this stage and subject to DEO 164 series of 2025 and any provisional treatment earlier stated. Its financial envelope may be opened under Agenda 3 together with those of the other technically eligible bidders for this contract. We now proceed to Agenda 3, reading of the bids and approved budget for the contract. For the record, under this agenda, we shall open only the second envelopes of those bidders. So first, technical envelopes will declare passed at the preliminary examination of bids under Agenda 2, including any bidder considered provisionally eligible in accordance with DEO 164 series of 2025 and the rules earlier placed on the record. We will proceed per contract in the same order as in the notice of opening of bids. So for contract ID number 25IG0088, the approved budget for the contract is 9,999,997 pesos and 67 centavos only, inclusive of all applicable taxes. Secretariat, please state the record which bidders are technically eligible and whose second envelopes will be open for contract ID 25IG0088.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So for the record, for contract ID 25IG0088, the following bidders were declared pass at the preliminary examination of their first envelope under Agenda 2 earlier, and therefore eligible for opening of their second envelope, namely Virgin Enterprises and Jason's Builders.
Thank you. We now proceed with the second envelope of Virgin Enterprises for contract ID number 25IG0088. PWG, please confirm that your holding is the financial envelope of Virgin Enterprises as identified by the Secretariat.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I confirm that this second envelope of Legion Enterprises, bearing the corresponding markings and sponsorship with the box indicating the date and time of receipt. With your permission, we will now open the financial envelope of Legion Enterprises.
PWG, please proceed the preliminary check of financial proposal. Announce the presence or absence of the required financial documents. Box Secretariat, kindly encode or mark the corresponding entries on the financial secret manifest on screen.
For Virgin Enterprises, financial envelope, financial bid form, 120 days bid validity, check. Bill of quantities, check. Detailed estimates, check. Sum of the bid prices, check. Cash flow by partial of payment schedule, check.
Thank you, PWG. We now proceed to the second envelope of G-Sans Builders for contract ID number 25IG0088. PWG, please confirm that the envelope you are holding is the financial envelope of G-Sans Builders as identified by the Secretariat.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we confirm that this is the second envelope of G-Sans Builders, bearing the corresponding markings and stamp received to the back of the Secretariat, indicating the date and time of receipt. With your permission, we will now open the financial envelope.
PWG, please conduct the preliminary check of the financial proposal and announce the presence or absence of the required financial documents. Secretariat, can they indicate and mark the corresponding entries in the financial checklist on screen?
G-Sans Builders Financial Component. Financial bid form with 120 days bid validity, check. Summary bid prices, check. Bill of quantities, check. Detailed estimates, check. Cash flow by partial of payment schedule, check.
Thank you, PWG and Secretariat. We now read into the record the total bid price of first bidder, the Virgin Enterprises, for contract ID number 25IG0088, as indicated in the duly signed financial bid form. The total bid price of Virgin Enterprises, amount in words, 9,989,300 pesos only. Amount in figures, 9,989,300 pesos only. The total bid price of G-Sans Builders, amount in words, 9,993,000 pesos only. Amount in figures, 9,993,000 pesos only, as stated in their bid form. For the record, the figures we have read today are based on the financial bid form as submitted by Virgin Enterprises and G-Sans Builders. The bank, through the PWG and Secretariat, will subsequently conduct a detailed bid evaluation, including arithmetical corrections and verification of consistency between the DEO, detailed estimates, and the bid form, and will thereafter rank the bids in accordance with the lowest calculated responsive bid or other applicable criterion as stated in the Now take up to the last contract. Let's proceed to the last contract. Now take contract ID number 25IG0089. Secretariat, for the record, how many bids were received for this contract and from whom?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So for the record, for contract ID 25IG0089, repair rehabilitation of classrooms, Buenavista Elementary School, Abuyog, Leyte, the back through the Secretariat received only one bid, namely from Just In Enterprises. We received the same today at 8:20 a.m. So no other bids were received for this contract, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Secretariat. And for the record, these are the bids that will be open and subjected to preliminary estimation for contract ID number 25IG0089. Secretariat, please open the bid box and retrieve the bid envelopes for 25IG0089 and hand them to the TWG.
So for the record, Mr. Chair, we shall now open the bid box and retrieve all envelopes bearing the label contract ID 25IG0089. We will hand them to the technical working group. So each envelope bears the stamp received by the back secretariat with the date and time of receipt.
Mr. Chair, we confirm that the envelopes handed to us correspond to the figures earlier identified by us in Canada for contract ID 25IG0089. And that they are properly marked as first technical envelope and second financial envelope for each bidder.
Thank you, Secretariat. Please project the checklist of eligibility and technical documents for contract ID number 25IG0089. We will now open the first technical envelopes and conduct the preliminary and technical estimation. And TWG, please open the technical envelope of Just In Enterprises and announce the requirements and state check and submitted. Secretariat, kindly encode or record the findings in the checklist on screen.
For Justin Enterprises, technical documents, certificate of credit registration, check,
Secretariat, for the record, what is the status of electronic eligibility check in the CWA for Just Enterprises?
So, Mr. Chair, the CWA electronic eligibility check for Just In Enterprises has already been completed, and the results is here for your signature and reference.
Thank you. For the record, based on the CWA electronic eligibility check, the result for Just Enterprises under contract ID number 25IG 0089, TICAM license, valid until April 18, 2026. Work experience passed, NFCC passed, Mayor's permit valid until December 31, 2025, PTI valid until December 21, 2026, BAR tax clearance valid until June 25, 2026, PhilJets registration valid until August 12, 2026. With the manual and findings of the TWG and the CWA electronic eligibility results now on the record, may I hear a motion to adopt the findings of the TWG together with the CWA result for the first or the technical envelope of Just Enterprises for contract ID number 25IG 0029 to be declared eligible and passed.
I move to adopt the findings of business reports.
Second the
Oh,
motion.
just in enterprises.
Second the motion. Any objection?
None, Mr. Chair.
There being no objection, the motion is carried. And the PAC adopts the TWG findings and the CWA electronic eligibility result. Accordingly, applying the non-discretionary pass-fail standard under Section 59 of the IRR of RA 12009, the first envelope or the technical envelope of Just In Enterprises for contract ID number 25IG0089 is declared passed at the preliminary examination of these. Just In Enterprises that's considered eligible and technically compliant at this stage and subject to DEO 164 sales of 2025 and any provisional treatment 5 years later. Its financial envelope may be opened under Agenda 3 together with those of the other technically eligible bidders. We now proceed to Agenda 3, reading of the approved budget for the contract. For the record, under this agenda, we shall open the second envelope of Just End Enterprises. For contract ID number 25IG0089, the approved budget for the contract is 2,563,822 pesos only, inclusive of all applicable taxes. Secretariat, please state for the record the technical which bidder are technically eligible and whose second envelopes will be open for contract ID 25IG0089.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So for the last contract, 25IG 0089, the following bidder was declared pass at the preliminary examination of their first envelope and therefore eligible for opening of their second envelopes, namely Just In Enterprises.
Thank you. We now proceed with the second envelope of Just In Enterprises for contract ID number 25IG0089. TWG, please confirm that the envelope you are holding is the financial envelope of Just In Enterprises as identified by the Secretariat.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We confirm that second confidential envelope of Just In Enterprises bearing the corresponding markings and with stamp received by the bank secretariat indicating the date and time of receipt. With your permission, we will now open the financial envelope of Just In Enterprises.
TWG, please conduct the preliminary check of the financial proposal and announce the presence or absence of the required financial documents, and Bank Secretariat kindly include or mark the corresponding entries in the financial checklist on screen.
For Justin Enterprises, financial documents, document ID DPWH 0089, financial bid form with 120 days validity, check. Bill of quantities, check. Standard bid prices, check. Bid estimates, check. Cash flow per quarter, tenants feedback, check.
That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you, DWG and Secretariat. We now read into the record the total bid price of Just In Enterprises for contract ID number 25ID 0089 as indicated in the duly signed financial bid form. The total bid price of Just In Enterprises amount in words 2,558,300 pesos only. Amount in figures 2,558,300 pesos only. As stated in the bid form. For the record, the figures we have read today are based on the financial bid form as submitted by Just In Enterprises. The bank through the DPWH and Secretariat will subsequently conduct detailed bid evaluation including arithmetical corrections and verification of consistency between the BOQ, detailed estimates, and the bid form, and will thereafter rank the bids in accordance with the lowest calculated responsive bid or other applicable criterion as stated in the bidding documents. We now proceed to Agenda 4. We open the floor to any bidders, bank members, observers, PWG who wishes to place on the record any comment, clarifications, or observation regarding the opening of bids and preliminary examination conducted today. And kindly state your name, your company, and contract ID to which your comment refers. Bank Secretariat, kindly take note on record for minutes purposes of any comments, reactions raised.
Mr. Chair, as of this time, only Ms. Leslie is around. So, any comments or reactions from Ms. Leslie, our resident co-observer?
Yes, sir. I will be
So, for the record, Mr. Chair, our resident co-auditor stated that the whole proceeding is okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So there being no further comments or reactions, Agenda 4 is hereby closed. We now proceed to Agenda 5. So there being no other matters for discussion, may I hear motion to adjourn this opening of bids?
Second motion.
Any objection?
None, Mr. Chair.
There being no objection, the opening of bids is adjourned at 10:50 in the morning, December 3, 2025.